Hi, my name is Kara Michelle, and I am here to help you live your truth. So in this new mini-series I'm going to be sharing on my YouTube channel, I am working through A Course in Miracles. So I wanted to bring you along, whether you are reading it yourself or whether you're interested in it or you want to know more or you're just intrigued by what it's going to have to share. Stay tuned. I'll be sharing a video each day about each lesson as I work through it, and I'm excited to get started. So I first started reading A Course in Miracles a year and a half ago, maybe almost 2 years ago now. I never fully finished it. I will be 100% honest. I absolutely loved it. It was very interesting and thought-provoking and brought a lot of new realizations to my life. But as life gets busy, I forgot to prioritize it. I started focusing on different things. So now I'm back and I'm ready to prioritize it, and it's part of my morning routine. So if you want to know more about my morning routine, you can check out another video where I share that. But yeah, these are going to be all about A Course in Miracles. So if you don't know about this, it is basically there's 365 lessons, so you can do a lesson a day. It's a combination of spirituality as well as perspective and theory, and it's really just a fascinating way to look at the world, to see things differently. It's a spiritual based text. They mention in there, they talk a lot about God, but they mention this doesn't have to be God by Christian standards. This is just however you view God. And I personally feel like it's all the same thing anyway. I've always struggled with perceptions of a God, of a white man with white hair and a white beard or a gray beard sitting on the clouds looking down and shaking his finger if I did something wrong, or telling me I wasn't good enough and so I had to go to hell. I've never identified with those beliefs, and I always had trouble understanding religions for a lot of those reasons because of the perception that was around me or that I interpreted as a child. But really, A Course in Miracles is about that perception, and it's about understanding the connection to the world around us, to the fact that you are a spiritual being, not just a physical being. And when you are operating from a spiritual place, from a good energy like that, you can bring in miracles. And it's all about aligning yourself in the best way possible, understanding, forgiving, and ultimately loving, because that is the most powerful and most important emotion we have in the human experience, is to love. So with that said, I just wanted to say that about the God piece, because maybe you are someone who is religious and follows a practice like that. That's totally fine. Maybe you're someone who's maybe atheist or unsure, or just like looking for answers and desperately open for any kind of meaning, because that was me for a long time. Especially when my brother passed away, I knew there had to be more to life, and I was so lost in the grief, but I wanted to look for answers. What happens after we die? What is the purpose? Like, why am I here going through this if then I'm going to just be buried in the ground, or I'm gonna go sit up in the clouds somewhere for eternity? Like, that terrified me. So enough about that though. Let's get into chapter 1, which is the meaning of miracles. So I already read this beforehand, but I'm just gonna pick out some of the favorite parts and kind of riff on them a little bit and share my perspective around it. So there's a good one. This first one's really good. Okay. There is no order of difficulty in miracles. One is not harder or bigger than another. They're all the same, and all expressions of love are maximal. So I love this one especially because when we look from an energetic standpoint, a lot of times we have limiting beliefs around what's possible. And it's actually our mind. Oh, I have such a bad cough today. It's actually our mind that limits us. It's our mind that goes, oh, this isn't possible, or this is too difficult, or I'll never get that, or it has to be hard, it has to take time. We create these limits. Those are just constructs from the brain. But what it's saying here is like a miracle. There's no difficulty in miracles. There's no such thing as harder or bigger. And it's when we set these limitations that we see it show up in our life. So just from like a business standpoint, because I know a lot of business coaches and they struggle with hitting that next limit in their income. A lot of times it's not because of what they're doing, it's not about the strategy, it's because their mind has blocked it, because they think it has to be harder to hit this new income goal, or it has to be way more difficult, they have to hustle so much harder. They create this belief around it, and that's what becomes the reality. But there's no such thing as bigger or harder. It's just about aligning with that. So if you believe you can achieve something and you believe it can be easy, it's gonna be easy. And that is the miracle. But it comes from doing the work in your mindset. So enough about that one. Miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. So instead of living in a society that we live in where a miracle is like a once in a lifetime thing, we don't believe in them enough. We don't believe that they're possible. We limit them. So just as before with the mindset, if we limit something, it's not going to show up. If we feel negative, anxious, fearful, doubtful, insecure, we're not going to get what we want. We're not going to see the beauty or the love or the miracle. And so we're not going to be able to receive it either. But miracles aren't difficult. They're very natural. They're around us every day. When you start to open your eyes and see them, when you start to focus on them, you're going to notice them even more. And that just aligns with the whole positive mindset and focusing on the good and finding the gratitude, because you could sit in this exact room and look around and go, none of this is special. Like, there's nothing good about this. I want more, I want this, I want that, it should be better. You could totally underappreciate your situation. Or you could take the positive mindset, look around you and go like, have the wonder of a child and be like, oh my gosh, look at this plant. It's this living thing that's like beautiful, and it's providing oxygen, trees providing oxygen, right? Different things like that, or the sun or the wind or the animals outside, or the fact that we can build a house and have a sturdy wall, and that we have food to eat, and every single thing is a miracle if you choose to look at it that way. And when you look at it that way, you'll notice you attract more miracles, bigger miracles, more abundance, all those good things. So I like this one too. Prayer is the medium of miracles. It is the means of a communication. It is a means of communication of the created with the creator. Through prayer, love is received, and through miracles, love is expressed. So prayer, like I just said as well, it doesn't have to be a religious experience with prayer, but prayer as a positive thought, as asking for guidance and support and believing you deserve it, being open to receive any kind of prayer like that, and positive interaction is going to, that's the medium. That's what helps bring it to you. But if you block it off, you doubt it, you think you don't deserve it, you don't even bother asking because you feel hopeless and like no one cares about you, you're not going to receive anything. You're not going to notice it around you. So it's good stuff. I'm going to skip through because I'm talking a lot, and there's a few on this last page for chapter 1 that I wanted to share. So a major contribution of miracles is their strength in releasing you from your false sense of isolation, deprivation, and lack. So if you had a time in your life where a miracle happened or something really amazing happened, chances are you felt so abundant or so aligned or grateful or excited, and you felt like anything was possible. That's because the miracle releases you from that belief of isolation, desperation, and lack. So it really brings you into a new state of being where you see that everything is possible. So doing that staying in that place already is going to help you notice more miracles to begin with. Miracles arise from a miraculous state of mind or a state of miracle readiness. So everything I've just said about that, right? It's all about you getting into that state of receiving, of believing it's possible, of staying focused on the positive, being miracle ready, and then the miracle is going to come to you. And when you live from that place, everything's better in the first place. Secondly, even if normal, average things happen, you're going to be more appreciative, more ready to receive, more excited about it, which is going to just increase your own mood and your attraction, your level of energy and vibration. But then you are also going to attract even bigger, better, more amazing miracles. If there was such a thing as bigger and better, right? There's no such label. Everything is possible. So it's really about getting into that vibration, believing, being open to receive, and living from that place every day. So that's kind of an overview of what I perceived from the very first part of chapter 1. And then now I'm just going back into lesson 1 in the workbook. So this is something you can do right now as you're listening to this and go along with me. So this is all about perception. So nothing I see in this room, on this street, from this window, in this place means anything. So slowly look around you and practice applying this idea very specifically to whatever you see. This table does not mean anything. This chair does not mean anything. This window does not mean anything. This phone or TV or camera or laptop, that's a word, whatever you're watching this video on, it does not mean anything. And then you can look a little bit further. The house outside does not mean anything. The trees do not mean anything. The sky does not mean anything. You're applying that principle to anything you see. And we get into this a little bit more over the next few lessons. But just to kind of touch on it, because I find this lesson very cool. What's really interesting about it is that when you look at these things, you already have a preconceived notion and a belief around what they mean. So if I pick up this teacup, I'm going to say for the exercise, this teacup does not mean anything. But when I look at it and I think about it, what does it mean? Well, to me, it means the ability to drink something. It holds hot liquids. I love it because I love tea, so I have a very positive association with it. I know that it's meant for drinking something. I know that it's not like a hat that I put on my head, right? So it does have a meaning to me based on my experience, my perceptions, everything I've been taught in my life, everything I've seen growing up, and my exact experiences with it. If you had an experience where a teacup shattered or suddenly broke and spilled hot tea all over your lap, you might look at the teacup and be like, I hate that. You might automatically have negative thoughts and associate it in a bad way. That's because of your own perception. So the point of this lesson and this exercise is to look around at these things and kind of detach from the meanings you have given them. So instead of seeing it as good or bad, instead of seeing it as beautiful or ugly or really difficult or very positive, whatever kind of labels you attach to things unconsciously, you might not even be aware of it, but by doing this exercise, you're bringing some awareness to it and you're labeling and looking at everything as it's just there. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't have to mean anything good or bad. It all takes on what you give to it. And that's going to be something that's a huge part of A Course in Miracles as we move forward. So I'll just stop there before I talk too much longer. But give that exercise a try, and you're supposed to do it a few times throughout the day. So say you're out for a walk or you're walking to your car later or at work, and you think about it, try to do that again. Look around your immediate area. This whatever does not mean anything. This does not mean anything. This does not mean anything. And then look in your further area, your more external environment, and same thing. This does not mean anything. This does not mean anything. And it's not like a difficult exercise, but it's just going to help you create some awareness, look at things in a new way, and it's really going to be positive as we move forward in the next few lessons that kind of pile on top of this one. So thank you so much for watching. I'd love to have you stick around if you're interested in doing this book club, virtual book club, where I'm sharing about A Course in Miracles. Please hit the subscribe and the notifications bell so that you will see these videos each day when I post them. And let me know in the comments if you've read A Course in Miracles before. If so, what did you think? And did you finish it? If not, are you gonna commit? Are you gonna stay with me over this next 365 days? Which is a crazy commitment, but I'm gonna do it. Will you stay with me to work through this together, to shift your perspective, align your energy, and ultimately just learn how to live from a place of more love and less fear? So I'd love to see you around. Again, if you have any questions or comments or thoughts, please post them down below, and I will see you tomorrow on the next video.